My guess is that some of us right now are stuck in a pretty bad place. And you're going like, how did I get stuck in a place like this? Like, how did I get stuck with a spouse like this? How did I get stuck in this family? And how did I get stuck in this job with the boss I have? How did I get stuck in this body? It seems to be always falling apart. When you're stuck in a really bad place, which inevitably will happen to most of us, well, then our attitudes go in a dumper, our actions go in a dumper, and it's really not a pretty picture. So what do you do when you're stuck in a really bad place? Well, maybe you want to go to school on the Apostle Paul, who is in the Slammer in Rome. And by the way, those Roman prisons weren't a pretty place. And he writes to the church at Philippi. And instead of grumbling and murmuring about the fact that he's the global missionary and now he's been confined to prison, stuck in this really bad place, he says, I want you to know that the things that have happened to me have happened to the furtherance of the gospel. Talks about having the Praetorian Guard right there with him, Caesar's elite soldiers. And at the end, he says, the saints of Caesar's household greet you. So it seems to me that while he was in prison under the guard of Roman guards, he witnessed to them, and the gospel went into Caesar's household. And he used being stuck in a really bad place to figure out how he could bring it to good outcomes for Christ. You know, so I think perhaps maybe it ought to cross our fallen little brains once in a while that maybe God put us in that really bad place for a really good reason. I remember when I turned 35, which is now ancient history, my mother-in-law sent me a birthday card that said, bloom where you're planted. Good advice. And I thank God, who often may put you in a pretty tough place, may want you to bloom there for him. So think about that today. Think about why it might be that God put you in that place for a very special purpose. Don't waste it on a bad attitude.